Under a rising sun that washed the Texas plains in soft orange, the small frontier town of Redwater buzzed with excitement. Today was wedding day, an event folks looked forward to more than the cattle auctions or annual rodeo. Wooden banners were hung across the dusty street, strings of painted paper flowers draped over fences, and the smell of smoked brisket rolled through the air like a warm hug. But even with music and laughter dancing between wooden buildings, whispers swirled too. Whispers about the bride, Caroline Marrow, a woman whose body told the story of battles people couldn't see. She was heavier than most, soft-cheeked and round-shouldered, her steps slow from years of working in the ranch kitchen and eating late when others slept. Folks judged quicker than rattlesnakes struck. They didn't know she had courage like iron, nor did they care. All they saw was weight, and as she perched carefully on the back of a small decorative wagon that would roll her down the aisle, because walking the long path made her joints tremble. Some snickered, exchanging glances sharp enough to cut rope, but Caroline kept her chin lifted, veil trembling slightly over gentle, hopeful eyes. Her groom, Wesley Beckett, a respected rancher with shoulders broad from years of hauling hay, stood waiting at the end, with a smile like sunrise. He didn't choose her for her size. He chose her for kindness, for loyalty, for the way she believed in people even after they failed her. The preacher's voice rose, announcing the bride's entrance, the wagon rolling slowly behind two horses. Everything might have been perfect until a wheel hit a hidden rut. The wood split. The wagon lurched. Caroline tumbled with a startled gasp, landing in a billowing cloud of dust, flowers scattering around her like startled butterflies. The crowd gasped, but only for a heartbeat. Then laughter broke out. Not the nice kind. The cruel kind that prickled skin and bruised hearts. A group of cowboys hooted, elbows nudging, saying words she'd spent years dodging. "Told you it wouldn't hold," someone barked. "Better bring a cattle chute." Another laughed. Caroline's cheeks burned, eyes flooding. She scrambled to her knees, but panic weighed her down more than gravity. Her dress tangled. Her breath shook. For a moment she thought she would faint and wanted to. Anything to escape the laughter. But then the crowd fell quiet, silenced by the heavy sound of boots striking the ground. Wesley had moved. One moment he was by the altar. The next he was striding through the dust, jaw locked, eyes burning at the crowd like fire on dry brush. Not angry for embarrassment. Angry for her. He knelt beside Caroline, gently brushing dust from her veil. "You hurt?" he asked softly. She shook her head, ashamed tears streaking her face, but he didn't let her look away. "Caroline," he whispered. "The only thing heavy here is their ignorance." With slow, careful strength, he slid his arms beneath her and lifted. Not struggling, not straining. Lifting her with dignity as if she weighed nothing more than his respect. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Murmurs replaced laughter. Folks blinked, suddenly seeing not a joke but love. Wesley looked over the faces of townsfolk who'd once respected him. "Shame on every one of you," he said, voice steady and sharp. "Not for laughing at my bride, Bryce, but for forgetting she's a human being with a heart bigger than this whole town." Silence dropped thick and heavy. A few lowered their heads. Even the cowboys shifted uncomfortably. He carried Caroline the rest of the aisle, dust trailing behind them like memories he refused to let stain her. When he reached the altar, he didn't set her down right away. Instead, he looked at the preacher and the crowd. Marriage ain't about looks. Ain't about being perfect. It's about being willing to carry each other when life breaks the wagon. The preacher, moved to tears, continued the ceremony. Caroline's voice trembled when she spoke her vows, but strength rose through her words like new roots through tough soil. Wesley's vows were simple. "I'll never let you fall alone." When he kissed her, cheers erupted. Not mocking, but real applause, like thunder rolling across plains after drought. After the ceremony, townsfolk approached one by one, apologizing clumsily. Words couldn't undo the hurt, but Caroline accepted them with grace. Soon music filled the air. Couples danced on worn boards. Children chased each other between barrels, and lanterns flickered like stars caught in glass. At the reception, Caroline sat quietly for a moment, watching laughter and warmth swirl through the night. Wesley slid beside her. "Tell me what hurts," he whispered. She hesitated, then said, "It's not just today. It's years. People think my body makes me less." Wesley turned her face gently toward his. "Caroline, your body tells the story of every storm you faced and survived. It don't make you less, it makes you more. Tears slipped again, but this time they were soft, relieved. Just then little Emma, a girl with freckles like spilled cinnamon, approached. "Miss Caroline?" she asked shyly, holding a bruised flower. "You look like a queen." Caroline pressed the flower against her heart. "Thank you, sweetheart." Emma grinned, then scampered away. Wesley leaned back, watching stars bloom across the dark sky. "You know," he murmured, "these folks learned something today." "And what's that?" Caroline asked. He smiled. "Strength don't always look like muscles. Sometimes it looks like standing after everyone laughs." As the night deepened, fireflies drifted between tables. Children fell asleep in parents' arms, and music softened into lullaby. Before leaving, the preacher approached Caroline. "You changed hearts today," he said softly. "Not by shouting, but by standing tall." Caroline smiled, feeling warmth bloom in her chest. Not embarrassment, not shame. Pride. Because people saw her now, not as a punchline, but as a woman who could rise. And Wesley? He watched her like she was sunrise itself. Days passed, then weeks. Word of that wedding spread across nearby towns, whispered through saloons and campfires. Folks repeated not the fall, but the moment she rose. Women wrote Caroline letters saying her courage gave them hope. Men told Wesley they'd remember to speak kinder. And slowly Redwater changed. Cruel jokes faded. When new travelers passed through town and whispered about the obese bride, the townsfolk corrected them gently. "You mean Caroline, the one with the iron heart." Caroline, inspired by letters, opened a support group in the church hall, not for weight but for confidence, for people who felt invisible. The pews filled every week. She listened, encouraged, helped folks stand a little taller. One evening, Wesley said, "You found your purpose." Caroline replied, "No, I found my voice." At the next town festival, Caroline walked the entire fairground path without a wagon. The crowd didn't laugh, they cheered. Wesley walked beside her, offering support only when she needed it, smiling proudly as she greeted everyone with confidence she once buried deep. That night, lanterns glowing like constellations, Caroline addressed the crowd from a small stage. "We all fall," she said. "Sometimes publicly, sometimes painfully. But what matters most is who helps us rise and how we decide to stand afterward. Never let laughter define you. Let courage do that." Applause rose like a roaring river, loud and genuine. And somewhere in the crowd, the same cowboys who once laughed wiped eyes they swore only dust irritated. Life continued. Challenges came. But Caroline didn't hide anymore. She danced. She spoke. She mentored. And every time she felt old insecurities whisper, she remembered Wesley's arms lifting her. Not because she needed saving, but because she deserved dignity. And when life's wagon wheels broke again, as they often do, she no longer feared falling. Because when a heart learns it can stand, nothing can keep it down. If you enjoyed this powerful and emotional story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more inspiring tales just like this. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of courage, hope, and heart.